Yeah, man. I feel at home, but I know I'm not really. You know what I'm saying? This is gates open.
Gates open. New over here chilling with my boy Big Papa and
Big baby. You know what I'm saying?
Baby.
I appreciate that. You do call me Big Papa. It's also James. You know what I mean? It is James, but I do go by Big Baby. That's been a lifelong nickname, so I took it into the whole broadcasting and stuff. And it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Feel you. My bad, Cole.
No. You're all good. Honestly, if anything, you're showing me more respect.
Yeah.
To be honest. Yeah. Big Papa.
But like I say, Big Baby, man, I've been telling you guys, this is a gentleman helped me get started on my podcast. Sometimes, we do a little collabs.
Mm-hmm.
Come over here to his spot.
Yeah.
Make things happen.
Definitely.
So definitely be on the lookout for more collabs.
For sure.
And we're both, in this industry to try to do big things.
Definitely.
So,
also, can I say real quick before we get started, I just want to say this man right here inspires me. I'm not even going to lie. This man is a grinder, a hard worker. So as much as I'm helping you get started, because I started the actual putting up videos a little bit ahead, you put so much gas and wind beneath my sails as far as just inspiring me and seeing what you get started, man, honestly, and all the work that you put into it. It's beautiful. And I know at some point we'll all reap the benefits of all the hard work. So I'm with it, man. And more people out there in Florida that want to collaborate, I want to bring more people in on this. Honestly.
Sir. Yes, sir. Definitely appreciate that. And, check me out. Gates Open.
That's it.
Warner Media Group on YouTube. And
Sit and Politic podcast on YouTube, Spotify, if that's still a thing when you're watching this, and just pretty much anywhere you can find stuff. But primarily we focus on the YouTube, but Instagram, Sit and Politic podcast, Facebook, just everywhere. Sit and Politic podcast.
Yeah, I gotta step my game up. Got to be.
Hey, well, I appreciate it. I'm gonna take a compliment.
Yeah. So with that being said, let's jump on into it. We just watched the Super Bowl 56.
A football game happened tonight.
Yeah. Also check out Sit and Politic. We did a live stream.
Yeah,
I was part of it. Came a little late. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fashionably late. Yeah,
fashion. I mean, it wasn't that late.
Well, and it really wasn't official until you pulled up, to be honest. Yeah, it didn't feel right. But you pulled up, and that thing ended up being 3 hours. We were doing some live commentary on the event, something that we want to do more. And I mean, if that's something you get into, I'd love to be involved with. And you're always invited over here to do them with us. But we did the UFC fight. Just basically, if you don't want to listen to the commentators tell you the obvious stuff that you already know is happening in the game, you'd rather hear real conversations and also some talk about the game, tune into those.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just sitting, chilling, and just talking. You know
For sure. No, that's a vibe.
Think about all the times you and your homeboys or homegirls or friends or whoever it is, just sat around and chopped it up. Yeah, that's all we doing.
And also said, this guy on the TV is an idiot. Why is he saying that? Shut up. I hate listening to these people while I'm watching the game. You would rather listen to some,
You can be like Shay Sharp and just turn the volume down. He said that's how he watch all his games.
Well, okay. Well, there you go. Because he probably doesn't want to hear the ignorance.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear intentional ignorance, tune into the Sit and Politic podcast live stream and, whatever else is going on. Yeah. So, but the football game.
Yeah, the football game. So, but that's how things get going. You get off topic. But anyway,
vibe.
Obviously the Bengals end up winning the game.
Yeah, that's
psych.
Yeah, I was about to say that didn't happen. That didn't happen. But if you know this man, that's a possibility that he actually because the thing is he picked the Bengals. Yeah. I want to put him out there. If you watch the stream, then he was talking big on the Bengals. So we're not going to do how Skip and Shay do, and they just move forward. And they act like they didn't ever get anything wrong.
Like LeBron didn't have 4 turnovers yesterday.
Okay. We're not talking about LeBron. Well, this is your show. Whenever you want to talk about him. But I will say, this man was picking the Bengals, telling me it was the year of the Tiger and all that. So,
hey, man, they sacrificed so many Tigers.
So they felt like that would do it.
But this is the year of the Tiger.
Well, I mean, that could be a fact. But you said
that's why they actually made it to the Super Bowl.
Okay. So look at them moving the goalposts. Moving the goalposts, but all good. Yeah, no, it was a crazy game, though. I think it ended 20-23. The Rams won.
Yeah, Rams won 20-23. Very good game. I mean, for me personally, I didn't care who won, but I'm very happy for Aaron Donald. But I did say earlier this year, for them, it was all or nothing because of everything that they sacrificed to try to get key players on their team. Von Miller.
Yeah. Even previous years. They've been all in for a while. Jalen Ramsey. This year we got the wide receiver. Matthew Stafford.
Got hurt. Matthew Stafford.
That was a trade still. I mean, Jared Goff, they didn't want him, but.
Yeah. And Odell Beckham Jr., even though he got hurt. So I felt like they were all in.
I feel like we're missing some too, to be honest with you.
Yeah, probably some smaller trades.
For sure. No, they were going hard.
They were moving.
I think they kept trading their first and second round pick, and they actually the coach had spoke out about that as far as like their mentality, and it was something along those lines. Like we'll just win now. You know what I mean? We want proven commodities.
Yeah. So there was some also going into the game a little bit. There was some controversial plays.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely.
Jalen Ramsey, toast. He got toasted, but that one call, they didn't call the offensive pass interference.
Definite where they grabbed his face mask.
So I think with them winning the game, that actually is going to take the focus off of him.
Oh, for sure.
On his performance necessarily.
Definitely.
So that was a great thing for them.
They probably would have been, I mean, honestly, if they would have ended up winning the game, a lot of the sports commentators, because his name is big as well, it would have been an opportunity to put it all on him, and he would have became a scapegoat, I think, because the name would have attracted clicks or whatever it may have attracted, and then obviously it's easy to just trash him. Plus, he has a history of being a trash talker. He's an easy target. Yeah. So for sure, I totally agree with you. I think without them turning that game around, he would have been he would have been getting a rough Monday morning.
Yeah. So Aaron Donald saved him actually.
True.
I believe the play of the game was right there in the fourth quarter. When who had the ball?
Joe Mixon.
Yeah, Joe Mixon. I mean, everybody thought he had the first down.
Oh, for sure.
But old boy laying on the ground and was able to pull him back before he was able to get the first down.
He was sort of on the ground. He actually reached around. There was a guy in between him and Mixon. He kind of was reaching around him damn near. Yeah, that was an incredible play. And then pulled him back, like you said. So made sure he wasn't going to get any forward progress further. Yeah. So, and then he had the other play where almost a sack where he forced Joe Burrow to throw the ball. He didn't. He tried to get it to his running back, but he didn't get it there. So, how do you feel about him not getting MVP and Cooper Kupp getting the MVP?
Oh man, that's tough. I personally thought Aaron Donald should have got it.
And 2 sacks for him, which we both know.
2 sacks, another major play. Which in my opinion was the play of the game.
Sure.
And Aaron was everywhere. You know what I mean? And I just think at the end of the day, sometime a defensive player got to get player of the game. I mean, Coop had 2 touchdowns. I think he had like 90-some yards, 92, 93 yards receiving. But at the end of the day, man, sometimes you got to give it up to the defense.
It's not necessarily about this, but I do agree with you. I mean, I think if you want the people that are watching the game to value both sides of the ball equally. So that is kind of part of it. When every time you see an MVP or every time you see and I'm talking about a league MVP. Yeah, any kind of award, it's going to a offensive player. I think it kind of just shits on me.
Kind of devalues defense.
Devalues defense. Yeah.
Back in the day, I mean, honestly, myself, when it came to basketball,
everybody knows
I was a starter because of my defense.
And a star. I mean?
Not that I wasn't nice on offense,
of course,
but because of my defense, I was able to be a starter as a sophomore.
And obviously, you could have went to the league.
Definitely should have went to the league.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Not even a question.
I had a little bunnies. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, you had some rabbits on those feet. Man.
Get up.
Yeah, they were full grown.
Yeah, but in all honesty, I believe I at least could have played overseas.
Okay, at least.
Yeah, at least.
Easy.
You know what I'm saying? Easy money. I know some guys played over there. I was like, whoa. But,
but it's really about just doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to commit to it.
Yeah, I wasn't committed. You know what I'm saying?
Not like that.
You know what I'm saying? 1 year later.
You weren't going to go live in Hungary.
Yeah, my wife. Wife got pregnant. You know, I just didn't know the avenue to get there. But
look at you pointing fingers. He didn't want to say he didn't want to go to Hungary. He had to bring his wife in there.
Yeah. I'm a baby now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, but you just thought you brought her up in a good way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Talking about how she prevented you from becoming a European basketball player.
Trapped me.
There you go. You said it. You said it. No, but here we are, man. Still. But yeah, where were we in the
Odell Beckham play?
Oh yeah.
You know, he got injured and it was what they call a non-football play.
Non-contact.
Yeah, non-contact play. I think that was major.
Oh yeah, agreed. That so the game became more of a struggle at that point. The Rams, it felt like they struggled to move the ball on offense, and that's another reason why maybe you give it up to Aaron Donald, because that period of time from halftime, right after halftime to the end of the fourth quarter, the Rams really tightened up on defense, and the Bengals weren't scoring any touchdowns. I mean, for me, that's part of what had me on the edge of my seat, because every time the Rams would stop the Bengals, and then the Rams would get the ball and then not do anything with it. Yeah. I was like, this is for sure the time they go make this a 2-possession game, the Bengals, and start to gap a little bit.
Especially after they came out after halftime, the Bengals.
Sure.
They scored that long TD when old boy
Jamar
face mask, Jalen Ramsey, and then they got an interception like the next play or two after that. Yeah. So they came out hot.
Oh, for sure.
Then that thing fizzled.
It did.
Quick. You know what I mean?
Well, then we don't want to pass up on the when Joe Burrow got shook up. Yeah, and his leg got trapped.
Both of them did, actually.
Yeah, for sure. And we were wondering though afterwards. I know I was definitely wondering, because I felt like a lot of the passes afterwards were designed running back check downs and stuff like that, trying to protect them. And that happened, I think, at the beginning of the fourth quarter. So I think it was kind of like a decision that was made, like, hey, do you think you can make it 10 more minutes, and we're going to keep you out there so we can so they have to respect the fact that we have Joe Burrow as a quarterback.
Yeah.
And they can't just stack the box against Joe Mixon. And I mean, it almost paid off for him. I mean, at the end of the game, you saw him actually open it up a little bit. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, at that point, I think they had to, but but Joe was noticeably limping. You could tell he wasn't trying to put pressure on that foot. So I definitely, and then I think he had a couple of passes that were short. That could have been some first downs, or moving the sticks and different things like that. For sure.
Maybe not able to step into his delivery.
Like I used to.
Exactly. Everybody knows. And everybody knows that. Yeah.
What else happened in the game?
No, those were big. Well, I don't know if we even touched on the Odell thing enough, because we kind of got away from it. But yeah, at that point, before that happened, there was so much momentum on the side of the Rams. I mean, Odell, I actually think only had 2 receptions, but it felt like he was doing everything.
Yeah. But that brings me to think that when he first came in the league, he had that crazy catch.
Yep.
And then after that season, he
had a lot of injuries.
We felt like the talent was still there.
Oh, for sure.
He just was always hurt.
Definitely.
So just watching this game in 2 plays, we can see the impact that he still has.
Oh, yeah.
And he still got it.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, I mean, we touched on it on the live stream a little bit, as far as like, this is one of those scenarios where I think it really does make you have to question Baker and what kind of quarterback he is, because there's no doubt that, you had a great receiver in Odell for the Giants, where he was on some pace at the beginning of his career that was insane. And
he was playing with his best friend.
You're right. Jarvis Landry.
Yeah.
For the Cleveland Browns, and that didn't work. And every year, Jarvis Landry was a more statistically impressive receiver, which just doesn't make sense when you consider the skill sets. You know what I mean? Like you said, we know what you can get out of Odell Beckham with Eli Manning, which, I mean, although he won Super Bowls and deserves respect and is a Hall of Famer, I don't think any of us are thinking of him as like elite quarterback. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah. So. No, definitely interesting to see how he's able to open up here. I think he already has surpassed his statistics from this year, the time that he played in like the playoffs and the end of the season with the Rams, past what he did with the Browns to start the season.
And then Deshaun Jackson got to be sick.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to get out of town. So wherever he's at, he's sick. And
hometown team too.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Second year in a row. The second year in a row. This is the stay your behind home Super Bowl.
That's right.
You had Brady last year come to a new team, win the championship.
Same script.
At the same at home in the pandemic. Then you got the same thing happen with Matthew Stafford.
For sure.
Come over here, win a home Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Which I think at the end of the day, they're trying to just promote that stadium for the Olympics they're trying to get.
That was an interesting point you made, for sure. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, rather. So I'm a little bit more cautious into buying into stuff like this. Like the entire NFL is rigged, like some people who talk about it for some reason. Don't even understand why even watch it then. Why watch it? But okay.
I mean, okay. We don't gotta get people watch wrestling, right? I mean, people.
I suppose you're right. Do you watch wrestling?
No.
Why not?
I used to. With my brother,
and eventually you got older, and you're like, this is dumb as hell. Why am I even spending my time watching this?
Still, millions of people watch it.
Okay, sure. I'm asking you though.
I mean, these guys still have talent. The talent
for sure.
is to see somebody go up
athletically
and dunk a ball the way they do sometimes. That's amazing. They got that talent.
Well, and I wonder, so many people would have to be involved for these games to all be rigged, in my opinion. And so many things would be riding on. You shot a basketball. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're not as good at Steph Curry at shooting the basketball?
Nothing on me.
Okay, all right. Well then, okay, fine.
No, let me stop.
Okay, yeah, because all right, let's figure it out then. But no, so if everything is riding, if all your rituals are riding on Steph Curry definitely hitting every single 3-pointer that he wants to hit, then I mean, how could you count on that? You know what I mean? Like it seems like a lot to count on.
The balls.
Oh well, damn it!
I mean, the proof is out there
that there's magnets in the balls.
Yes, you can. I mean, they have the technology. I'm not saying the NBA said, "Hey, we have magnets in our balls," but the technology is there. And then the little infomercial said, "Not for use of professional and college athletes."
Well, damn it! Okay,
go look it up. Look it up. It's on YouTube.
Please look it up and come back and let us know. Are there magnets in the basketballs and footballs? Oh, footballs as well. Which I guess it makes sense. Then you have magnets on the hands. Is that what it is?
Yeah, they got the gloves. I showed you that play with D Hop.
Yeah, well, I don't remember.
DeAndre Hopkins.
No, I don't remember.
When Kyler Murray threw that Hail Mary, I think a year or two ago. He went up and his hands unrealistically sucked to the ball. It was ridiculous. You got to put it in slow motion, and you got to see it from the back side, end zone side.
I've heard people say that those receiver hands are so sticky that somebody slapped you across the face with it, take your skin off.
I ain't never heard that. Maybe that's when they had that stickum.
Maybe
back in the day.
I mean, I think they were talking about nowadays, but that's fine. Well, I mean, so for you, this is another year that
think about the one play we were talking about when the receiver caught the ball, ran out of bounds, and the clock continued to run.
That's a good point. Well, the thing is, I would need to know for sure that's what happened. Well, because we just saw it. We just looked up while we were doing the live stream, and that is what we saw. And by the way, Ken is talking about when the Rams were driving with the ball at the end of the game. I think it was the first play. It's like an out route. The receiver catches the ball, and it appears that he doesn't go down before going out of bounds. So he runs out of bounds, but then the clock continues to run. And I was surprised that we didn't hear anything about that. Even in like
it'll be tomorrow.
There's been some games that we've heard stuff like that as far as like
commentator.
Yeah, where the commentators say, "Oh, the games are still."
That's why you tell them they don't know what they talking.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. Stop messing this up. We got a ritual running right now. Well, so I wonder if we're gonna hear about this from the like mainstream media, like Undisputeds, or if we're gonna see a lot of pieces on like YouTube and stuff like that, independent broadcasters.
I think eventually both, and then the referees will come out and apologize, and then they may not be able to ever do a Super Bowl again, and the dumb stuff that doesn't matter once you lost the game.
Just because we've only seen the play one time, I wonder if he was down. You know what I mean? Because I wonder if we just didn't see it, and from our angle, it looked like
you could be right.
Yeah, he was like
to see it again.
Yeah, me as well. I wonder if anybody else saw that, because everybody in the room felt the same way.
Yeah,
I mean, even people rooting either way were like, "What the hell's going on? The clock's still running," and for quite a while too. That was like
it was a hot minute, about 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah, runoff.
Yeah, it was stupid.
No, for sure. Yeah.
Who else scored a touchdown?
Cooper Kupp. You got Joe Mixon threw a running back halfback pass to T. Higgins.
That was easily diagnosed. I mean, but if you're in the secondary, you probably not going to see it. But as the D line and linebackers, I feel like they would be able to sense that out very quickly.
I feel like every Super Bowl we get a like trick play, like it's the Eagles Super Bowl where you had the Philly special, and that same play actually was done. It might have been last year
because he's not even running like he's running here. When he got the ball, he ran here to set up for the pass, obviously to create that separation.
Yeah,
but I mean.
Well, and now that we're talking about it, there was also a wide receiver pass from Cooper Kupp that went over Matthew Stafford's head. Yeah,
that was dope. It would have been great if it worked, though.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought it was cool. It was towards the end of the game, and at that time, OBJ was down, and it did definitely feel like the Rams were trying to just make something happen on offense. Because at that point, as far as like receivers of note, it was literally Cooper Kupp, because you have Robert Woods, who was hurt already going into the game, and then losing OBJ. So and then the running game for the Rams, by the way, was non-existent. That is definitely something I wasn't expecting.
I haven't been following them this year, but have they had any decent running game?
Oh yeah, well I mean, it comes and goes. But Cam Akers has had some good games, and Sonny Michel has also had some pretty good games. So I think the running back is dying. I mean, now we got wide receivers, Dabo, whatever his name is, playing running back. Debo.
Yeah, Debo. It's almost like a traditional running back doesn't exist anymore.
That's fair. Yeah.
They with the spread offenses.
You have some though. You do have some, like Derrick Henry. You know what I mean?
Derrick
Like you
Henry,
have a few.
You say Zeke.
Saquon Barkley.
They still exist.
Yeah, but I mean, those are like exceptional running backs for sure. Yeah, so yeah, 100%. I agree. It is interesting because it's such a valuable position because it allows you to control the clock, which is such an important part of the game. But I guess that's just not valued. You know what? Actually, I think that this really started to be the direction we were going when you had teams like, I remember the Steelers doing this a lot, and obviously the Patriots, where they didn't have a super strong run game at certain times. So then they would do short passes and they would become the run game.
Yeah, they would say it's an extended version of the run game.
Exactly. Yeah. And the Patriots were really big on that. So, and even utilizing the running back in the pass game for that reason.
Why is that though? Because think about it. I mean, are mainly the offensive linemen that's being drafted are looking more to pass protect, or is it a dying breed when we're talking? Because from what they say, the offensive linemen want to run block, not pass block.
So what I've heard, now this doesn't have so much to do. It addresses the offensive line issue, but I've heard that there's more with like as far as like CBA discussions. There's more restrictions on practicing, so offensive line play is kind of deteriorating a little bit.
That's all over the field. They say that with tackling.
Sure.
In general,
yeah, but I think probably the place that it would affect the most would be the offensive line, which is one cohesive unit that all work together, like directly together.
Yeah, I think it'll affect the offensive line the most. On offense more than anything. On defense, just being able to tackle. I think in the beginning of the season. Anyway.
Oh, well, okay, hold on now. Come on. So, like people not okay. So we got to practice to make sure you know how to tackle. Well, how'd you get here? Huh? How'd you get to the NFL? Like, come on, wrap them up.
But the same.
But to say practicing is hurting
the NFL as offensive lineman.
No, but it's different because when you're working with different people side by side. A tackling is just a one-on-one. I got to tackle you, and you should just know how to do that by now. But as far as offensive line, it's like, hey, this is the scheme. This is like your guy to your left strengths. These are first off, weren't you a quarterback?
Yeah.
I played offensive line. So who are you talking to right now? I'm an expert.
I'm just saying. Look. If we just out there playing,
I'm playing, but I do feel how I'm saying.
And I mean, I didn't like playing quarterback when I did.
Love to play offensive line.
Most honorable mention. Senior year quarterback. You know what I mean?
Oh, you?
Oh yeah.
Honorable mention. Well, who's the guy that won?
I don't know.
Okay.
And he's not.
I wonder where he's at.
He's not important.
He probably went to the league or something.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He went to what league?
Probably NFL or something.
No, he didn't. He was garbage.
Yeah, he probably went crazy with it.
You know what I'm saying? No, I don't have a clue.
Yeah. Probably Charlie Ward.
No, I ain't that old.
Oh, okay. My bad.
You know what I'm saying?
It's just FSU player that came to mind.
A pivotal point in the game I felt like was when the Rams were driving and they're right there. They're in the red zone and they were able to get a couple first downs. Because of pass interference. Great point. What happened?
You're right. That was a killer, though, the pass interference.
Yeah, and the touchdown that got called back because of double penalties.
Cooper Kupp's touchdown.
Yeah. So, but he
I almost
wish
that's where it would have ended, to be honest, because that was such a beautiful play. When he caught it and he got hit by the guys and held on to it, got his feet in bounds. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know why teams don't understand that Cooper Kupp is a player on the field. I feel like he was wide open all the time. Like there weren't any, except for there at the end.
Well, not really though, because you broke it down. He didn't really have that many receptions at the end of the day. He had like 7.
But the ones he caught, they were like wide open, except for 2.
Oh, they were crazy.
And one of them didn't count. Was that touchdown?
True. That's a good point. So that'd be 3 touchdowns even that he caught throughout the game if he would have got that one.
No, because they still throw the touchdown to him.
Oh, on that same drive.
Yeah.
Okay, good point.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Outside of that touchdown and another play I remember, I felt like he was just wide open.
No, I mean, it could also be, they would double team certain players if they were balling like he was, obviously. But I don't think that the Bengals had a great answer for him in the secondary. Eli Apple.
He got toasted.
He got toasted several times.
Roast.
Awuzie, he's their other corner. He's a little bit better, and he held up a little bit better. But at the end of the day, anytime Eli Apple was on Cooper Kupp, it was a wrap.
Yeah, hamburger, like what Shaq say, barbecue chicken.
Barbecue chicken for real. Yeah. No, he was doing it to him. It was one of the, I'm really trying to think as far as recent Super Bowls, but this one was competitive throughout. There was no coming back or anything like that. Both teams seemed like they were locked in and competitive throughout. And both teams faced adversity several times throughout the game as far as players getting hurt. It actually is just now sinking in. I promise to you that is the last game of the season and football's over. Wow.
That's it. It's a wrap. Used to be the Pro Bowl after that, but
true.
Which that ain't nothing either. But
yeah, we skipped that. We talked about that. I'm honestly like boycotting it because it's such a disrespectful thing to put on TV. Like I watch clips of it because it's almost like I'm like morbidly curious. I'm like, well, what'd they do? And it's like, oh wow, that's what they were up
Maybe
to.
They should just play flag football 7-on-7 or something like that.
Well, it could be part of that in like the quarterback challenge. Do you remember when they used to do that?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I would rather just make it like fun games where if you're gonna not take it serious, it's not insulting to the game.
Something to see that we can see why they're so talented. You know, maybe some offensive linemen do different drills. You know, just something, and then they just hang out. I don't know.
Well, and then also you get to see them. So actually, this is another. Didn't really think that's the only time you really get to see those players compete directly against people that play the same position. So even in the Pro Bowl, they're still playing in an offense against each other. It's cool to think that you could watch Aaron Rodgers and see how he actually stacks up against Patrick Mahomes and drills. There's no other way you're going to see that really. So
I agree. Have them all race like Tyreek Hill. I think they did a little race actually. I caught it, and then Tyreek was jogging. Dude from Dallas, Diggs. Was it Diggs?
Oh yeah, no, I think Micah Parsons or something. Yeah, he's a linebacker too.
He won.
Yeah,
he won the race.
Yeah,
and I forgot. Stephon Diggs was there.
You said Tyreek Hill wasn't taking this. I didn't see it. I just okay. Well, that's good to see because I was like, when I saw the thing, and I just saw everybody that participated, and I saw Tyreek Hill didn't win. That was like, what?
Tyreek Hill was jogging would have beat me.
Yeah, no, legit. No, he's an incredible player, very unique. He's one of my favorite players in the league.
And then they showed a clip of him racing somebody. I can't think of who it was, but ate him up.
Well, he wants to race Usain Bolt.
Well, it's too late. I mean, if he beat Usain, it's like
it's kind of even at this point. He's an older track person. You're a younger football player.
Yeah. Now, if he say I want to race whoever just won the championship,
sure.
Then that's a different ball game. But the race now, if you race this guy, then you go out and beat Usain Bolt's records. Then I think that's more interesting.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean,
you put on it's like to me, it's almost like like putting on the show Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones. Like, come on, let's be fair.
Yeah, well, I mean, but they were both older boxers. So
just take a younger guy. I don't know, but I just feel like that one. Not that it wouldn't be interesting because I would watch it.
I actually around this, I want to actually pull something up because there was something I saw that came out where the wide receivers for the Chiefs were trolling Eli Apple after the Super Bowl. So I want to try to see if I can find that for you. Well, I mean, I don't want to look through my phone too much, so I can kind of give you the gist, but this isn't going to be like exact quotes. Basically, McCole Hardman, which is another one of the wide receivers from the Chiefs. I really wish I could find it verbatim, and if you do another live stream at some point soon, I probably would because it's a funny way that he put it. Yeah. But he's like basically like it's such a personal thing. He's like, maybe if you weren't so bad at playing corner, you wouldn't have got burnt throughout. Like, it is so personal. He wouldn't have got burnt several times in the Super Bowl. I'm like, damn. Like literally like so and then Tyreek Hill actually like retweeted it or whatever he did, and he said like basically he's like, I think they like got him or something. Yeah. So it was so that's interesting. Definitely petty. That's a nice little rivalry. They're both in the AFC. They'll definitely see each other again. I don't know if Eli Apple will be a part of that team, but just want to share that. One thing I found interesting is
that the Bengals only have one player's number retired. Number 54.
Yeah.
I forgot his name now. Bob Johnson, I believe it was.
Yeah.
One player, like
that is interesting. Yeah. Well,
so that means they don't have it unless Bob Johnson is in the Hall of Fame. They don't have any Hall of Famers. What it sounds like.
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean they don't have any Hall of Famers if they don't retire their jerseys. But I feel you. You don't even have to be a Hall of Famer to get your jersey retired. Though that's what's so wild about it. Like. Like it's a choice by the team not to retire your jersey. So they've made the decision they've made the intentional decision not to retire any of their players' jerseys aside from this one. So that's Boomer Esiason. They had a great left tackle for a long time, and I don't remember his name, but he's like considered like the greatest. I'm surprised he's not in there actually. Now I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I can't remember his name, so I couldn't even look it up right now. But Chad Johnson's another obvious one. Corey Dillon.
Corey Dillon was for years, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I don't know who else, but I'm sure there's plenty of people that could make an argument if you're a Bengals fan. I'm just not. So, but those are people that jump out to us.
I seen a thing on Facebook or YouTube, one or two, that said, I've never met a Bengals fan. And that was true for me.
Yeah, I don't remember. I might have. I lived in the Midwest a little bit, so it would be unfair. I'm sure there's some Bengals fans in Ohio, but I mean, maybe not. Maybe not. Who knows? I will say the time that I've lived in the South, I don't remember meeting many Bengals fans.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, true. The Chargers. Have I met a Chargers fan? I don't know. But either way, the Los Angeles Chargers, since they've moved to LA, they actually have a hard time filling up their stadium, or they're the only team in the NFL that typically have more of their opponents' fans that come to the stadium.
Don't they? They play in the same stadium, right?
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah. But for whatever reason, people they just don't translate to the Los Angeles market, I guess. And I don't know that the Rams do either, but they're just so successful
at the moment.
So it seems that way. But there's just so much to do in a market like Los Angeles that you don't have to go see the football game. There's so many options. So
to do over there, however you want to say it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Go to Justin Bieber's party, get shot at.
Yeah, get shot at. Get shot.
Get actually shot.
Yeah. True. That. You know what I'm saying? I hope you're all right, bro.
Yeah. Hey, did you ever find out if he got shot?
Yeah.
100% he shot.
Yeah. I mean, they said it wasn't life threatening.
Damn. Yeah, I hate to hear that.
Justin Bieber out there getting people out now.
That's my boy.
You know what I'm saying? You guys. And then they say
take Justin, leave Kodak alone.
So, rolling into next season, what are you thinking? What I'm hearing is like, let's see, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
They say he might play for the 49ers. Okay. They also said Tom Brady may come back and play for the 49ers. Okay. And then his girlfriend, Aaron Rodgers, lives in Colorado. So he might play for the Broncos.
I think the Broncos ended up hiring somebody that was connected to Aaron Rodgers too. Yeah. So what do
you think is a better fit?
Well, it's hard to say that where he's at isn't a great fit. He just won MVP. And they were the number 1 seed in the NFC, so it's not just personal success in that point. They had the best record in the regular season. I really thought they had. I thought they really had a great chance to go to the Super Bowl this year. So last year I also liked them, but this year did feel different. So when they lost, I was surprised by that. So I don't know. For me, it's hard to say not the Packers. You know what you have there. That the system works for him. You have great players around you. If you go to the Broncos, you're not guaranteed to have Aaron Jones, and you're definitely not guaranteed to have a Devontae Adams. Yeah. So
Chad Johnson loves Devontae Adams.
He's great. Yeah. I think. Well, so Devontae Adams might leave this year, but I wonder if Aaron Rodgers were to stay, if that would change his mind. You do have to take that into consideration. If he's not going to be there, I would honestly leave.
What about Aaron Rodgers going to Seattle? Old boy won't be there. Well, I mean, they look so piss poor.
Are you talking about flipping, like switching them? Russell Wilson. That's interesting. Russell Wilson played for Wisconsin, so he's got some roots there. I could see that working. I don't know that it's my 100%.
I'm saying he'll play with Metcalf, DK.
That'd be a great fit.
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't go there if I was him, because they've been sucking lately.
Well, to be honest, the number 1 deciding factor for me, as far as if I was Aaron Rodgers, would be if Devontae Adams was staying. If he wasn't staying, I wouldn't want to continue. They don't have a very deep wide receiver core, but Devontae Adams is like 100% top 5 wide receiver in the league.
Definitely.
There's just not. It doesn't get much better than that. So, and he's in his prime. So, yeah. I don't
know what the Broncos have.
They got some pieces, but no Devontae Adams. Cortland Sutton, they have he's really good. Noah Fant is a tight end over there that's really good.
Yeah, no pieces.
I mean, those are nice. Those are nice pieces. What was that?
What happened to Bridgewater? He was over there. Seemed like he was doing pretty good in the beginning, but
yeah, I think he got hurt.
Well, I think he did get hurt.
Yeah, he ended up getting hurt, and then Locke took over. But Locke was the quarterback previously, and it didn't work out. Yeah. And then he didn't do crazy good when he came in, and then they let go their coach. So I don't know how locked in Locke is.
Yeah, I don't know. You think, well, unless they keep Bridgewater, which may end up happening.
True. Well, if you don't have a better option,
Bridgewater, I think they're pretty decent when he was in there.
He's all right. He's kind of a bridge quarterback. No pun intended there, but because he is good enough to be a starter.
I got you. So if you saying he's a bridge quarterback, who you taking, him or your boy for the Cleveland? What's his name? Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like we might be figuring out that Baker Mayfield is in that Teddy Bridgewater class, so it's hard to say. I think either way, if you have either of those quarterbacks as your starter, you're going to have
the best person on that team.
Definitely not. And you're going to have a hard time winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You're going to have an extremely strong defense where it could be like a Brad Johnson for the Bucs situation, and he could just not lose for you, and you guys be all right. But if you need him to go win it for you, well, you're not going to have a good time. And I would say I'd probably go Baker Mayfield, to be honest. Yeah, I think he has a little bit more impressive arm strength, and just like his
taking Bridgewater.
Yeah, well, he's not going to make the mistakes, possibly.
Yeah, he got a little bit more experience.
Sure.
I think I personally would go with Bridgewater. I mean, you can toss up a coin, really.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't feel great about taking Baker. I don't feel great about it, but I will say, like, if I had to choose between the two, I think the one that has more impressive tools as a quarterback would be Baker. He's also a little bit more mobile. So I don't know, but I mean, I don't feel great about it. I think at some point you're going to have to move on from him. He's just one of those guys.
What about Pittsburgh? They got a quarterback decision to make. Are they going to draft one? Yeah. Oh no, they were saying Aaron Rodgers might go to Pittsburgh. I heard that. Well, I mean, obviously that's a possibility. I guess.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting
that would be the best fit between those. Well, maybe 49ers because they went deep in the playoffs.
I think it's better than the Seahawks.
Yeah, definitely better than Seahawks and better than the Broncos.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the Broncos actually have some pieces. I think they'd be close to that. But I agree. To be honest, that's interesting. That would be very interesting. I think Broncos and the Steelers are pretty close as far as like those situations. I think the 49ers would be the best because their defense is pretty elite, and they have Deebo Samuel, which is a crazy wide receiver and very versatile. Their run game, when it gets going, can get crazy, and they can switch running backs out. All of them can go for over 100. That seems like kind of the.
I don't know. I think I'm just pulling for Mike Tomlin because I like Mike Tomlin
for sure. I don't think it'd be a bad fit either.
I think I would want him to go there. Yeah, he's never had a losing season.
So you don't want him to end up having one.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to happen eventually, most likely. But I do feel you on that. And I mean, I kind of worry. There's been a few times it's felt like Mike Tomlin's job isn't like super secure in the past, in my opinion.
I think
more so when like everything was going on with Antonio Brown, Le'Veon, and Ben Roethlisberger, and you had like people like Antonio filming the speeches and stuff like that. There was a time where I feel like people were kind of looking for him a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, but I think if he have a couple of up years, like he hasn't had a losing season, but he hasn't made the playoffs every year. So I think if he go, make it to deep in the playoffs a couple of years, then have a losing season, that's going to be better for him.
No, I feel that.
But I that's why I want Aaron to go.
No, I think that's a good fit. I mean, they have some tools. Chase Claypool with the right quarterback. He's very athletic. So there could be something there. And they got Deontay Johnson, he's nice. He's a smaller receiver. And they have a good running back, Najee Harris. So I can see that.
Maybe throw on that thing a little bit.
Yeah. Who?
Yeah. I mean, on Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, definitely. And like I said, they got a lot of pieces there I could see. And he's better than Ben Roethlisberger. So those are, we're talking about what we've seen those players do with Roethlisberger.
Be first ballot Hall of Fame.
I think so. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But then again, you told me I'm a little bit too. I'm giving away participation trophies and shit.
Well, that's different. Roethlisberger got 2 Super Bowls. He's been in the league since 2004.
Well, I agree. No. I'm not trying to take him out the Hall of Fame.
5 years in the league. You won 2 Super Bowls. Had 2 or 3 nice seasons.
Sure.
Pro Bowl. I mean, Hall of Fame. Come on, man.
Who are we talking about?
Talking about your boy Davis, Terrell Davis.
Oh shit!
And then
you're bringing it back. My bad.
You don't put Chris.
This is a sneak attack. I didn't realize.
Yeah, you don't put Priest Holmes in there.
I didn't say
he didn't win no Super Bowls, but he got everything else better than Terrell Davis.
First off, I didn't say for sure you're not putting Priest Holmes in the Super Bowl. I'd have to look at his numbers. And Terrell Davis, what I said, you're taking my words out of context.
Rushing yards, I think.
Okay, you're taking my words out of context a little bit. I did say that he'd go to the Hall of Fame. Didn't say first ballot, and then also I said some individual feats are deserving of that. So I think that in some cases you can make exceptions with when you have like players like Calvin Johnson, for example, was another player we were talking about on the live stream with this conversation. He deserves to go to the Super Bowl. He had over 2,000 receiving yards or had 1,900 receiving yards. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like over, you feel what I'm saying on this? Come on.
I mean, I'm trying.
You don't think you could have such an impact over a short period of time? You could also qualify for the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying that Priest Holmes can't with the long resume.
How short of a period of time that is.
Sure, I agree. I agree. You can't have one season, but
Torrey Holt in the Hall of Fame. He's not in the Hall of Fame.
Possibly, I'd have to look at his numbers. I mean, I think yes, from what I remember seeing, but I mean,
somebody else. I was like, what? He's in the Hall of Fame?
Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce were nasty.
Yeah. Like, I don't think Isaac Bruce is in the Hall of Fame. I don't think so.
Let's see, but at the end of the day, I would have to look at the numbers because I'm not like off the top of my head so familiar.
But these players was the greatest show on turf.
I'm with you.
They had a nice 4 or 5 year run there.
I mean, look, and for me, I think they probably should be in the Hall of Fame. You should have a corner in there where Kurt Warner, Torrey Holt, and Isaac Bruce are all right there together. Because to be honest, there's this. Okay, so let's put it like this: there's a season of the NFL you cannot tell the story of without those three players. Correct. There's no question. There's a season of the NFL you cannot tell the story of without Terrell Davis. So if you're a player that has that kind of impact in that case, I think that could.
But Kurt Warner's already in the Hall of Fame.
I think he should.
He went to one Super Bowl. He went to 3 Super Bowls. Lost 2
Cardinals.
So I'm just like.
He should be
his numbers. I'm not saying he shouldn't be.
Okay.
I'm just saying his compadres.
Yeah.
They got left out.
And I don't think they should.
Reggie Wayne's not in the Pro Bowl. That's the
Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame.
And Marvin Harrison is.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't agree with that. I think what. No, he's a wild boy.
I don't think Edgerrin James is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean,
come on, man.
No, those guys should be for sure. I think all of those guys, and I think that's part of the real difference is they're so impactful, and there is definitely like seasons in some of those guys' case where you like I said, you can't fully.
Well, that's why I'm saying what I say, but you don't, and you put Terrell Davis in. That's why I'm having the argument, really.
Oh, I didn't know I was in an argument. Shit, I thought we were agreeing. So hold on. So Terrell Davis, you're saying no, and who are you saying should go in?
Well, I'm just saying. I'm not saying Terrell Davis necessarily shouldn't be there.
I'm saying probably not a first ballot. I agree with you on that.
Definitely, he wasn't first ballot.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that.
Oh, he's in the Hall of Fame already.
Terrell Davis.
Yeah, I thought he was, but I wasn't 100%.
Yeah. He went last year, or the year before.
Okay, cool.
But if you have people that have these crazy stats, that's not in the Hall of Fame, who would definitely impact players for years and years, not just 1 year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, because T.O.'s still not, right?
No, T.O.'s in there.
No,
he went on the 3rd.
Okay, and who was it? I feel like somebody recently refused to go to there.
That was T.O.
That was T.O.
He didn't go to to Canton.
Okay.
Everybody go up there and talk. He did it with his family, small town where he's from.
That's cool.
But he got skipped over twice. You can't tell me T.O. is not a first ballot Hall of Fame.
Of course he is.
And they just get mad at him for the antics he did off the field. He never got in trouble. He never did nothing bad in the NFL. You know what I mean?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, he didn't. Well, I shouldn't say in the NFL. What I should say is he didn't have any domestic abuse cases.
Okay.
He didn't have any. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you meant before the NFL there was some like issue.
Yeah, not clean slate. They just didn't like the way he did things off the court, off the field.
Oh, for sure.
He out there doing the sit-ups in his driveway when ESPN comes. What's wrong with that, though?
Nothing really.
Yeah, he's now, according to him, I seen him on the pivot. He said that when Andy Reid told him to go home and that he'll call him. So he said he drove an hour or two wherever he was going back to, I guess, his hometown, and he hadn't told nobody where he was going. So then he look out the window and see all these cars, cars and cameras.
Sure.
He was like, well, how they get here? I ain't even tell nobody. So he said, you can see in the video, he got his little earpiece in his ear while he's doing the sit-ups. And he said he's talking to his publicist right there. And she's telling him what to answer, what not to answer, and stuff like that.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. And well, I mean, honestly, I don't think we don't have you just gave more context, but with any situation, I think you definitely have to consider the context. So just to say like, oh, he's doing sit-ups in his driveway, that's not telling the full story like what you just did. So at the time, I don't think we were getting the full story.
But even if we didn't get the full story, what's wrong with doing sit-ups in your driveway?
No, but I mean, I feel you. Nothing's wrong with it, like I said. But you could also see why you would probably prefer him not, right? You're like, maybe don't talk to the press.
I mean, I can see the arrogance if that's what you're saying. I can see that.
I think that's part of it. But I mean, it's a whole pot with a lot of stuff in it. So arrogance is part of it. Also, you don't see how there's a possibility for that to then affect.
So what if he just would have stayed in the house and then come out?
Perfect.
Then they wouldn't have got anything.
Perfect.
You know what I'm saying? At least they got something to talk about.
No.
You got to give people what they. Give people what they want.
That's not how the Philadelphia Eagles feel. They don't feel like at least he gave the people something to talk about. They feel the opposite way. Yeah. They feel like, that's a distraction, which I agree, to be honest. You know what? Actually, I know we're going to agree on this topic, so I don't know how much we'll really go into it, but it's kind of like the Kaepernick situation. Now, I'm not trying to necessarily compare Terrell to Kaepernick, but Kaepernick's not doing anything illegal, and he is good enough to be maybe not a starting quarterback in the NFL, but to play in the NFL on a team. But there's a reason why teams won't pick him up, and it's honestly, I don't believe it's because they don't believe. They don't agree with his politics. Yeah. Some of them are, but it's actually more simple than that. They're like, I don't want the attention on my backup quarterback, or that amount of attention on my backup quarterback. It's just distracting. Why? Why invite it? You know what I mean? If it goes good, great. But it could also go good and not even take the chance of it going terribly bad, which is also another option. An option is you bring him in for the Denver Broncos and you got Teddy Bridgewater out there and he throws one interception in the game. And next thing you got people on the sideline, Kaepernick. And,
the whole thing with me and Kaepernick, at the end of the day, he did a peaceful protest.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But I think he didn't have an end game. Outside of his end game was suing the NFL and getting money. Because the one thing I always said when Kaepernick went out, I was on the bandwagon.
Sure, at first.
You know what I'm saying? At first.
Yeah.
But he was like, then they gave him the tryout and all this stuff. But everything in between that time, you never heard Kaepernick say, I want to play. All you heard was the analysts say he wants to play and he's good enough to play. I know he's better than that guy and that guy.
So, just because I want to make sure that we're not wrong on this. When he had you remember when he had the press conference at the high school in Atlanta, I think it was.
Yeah, after he changed the location.
I think at that point he did say that he wants to play football.
Yes, at that point. That's what I'm saying. In between.
Gotcha.
But then he came out there with pigs of police officers.
I always thought that one was stupid.
To me, that means he doesn't want to play. Yeah. Because that's just going to drive more negative attention.
Well, but in his opinion, also, maybe it's not negative. Well, okay, it is negative, but he's just trying to still keep the conversation at the forefront. You know what I'm saying?
But he had the opportunity because he would have had the platform again if he would have got on a team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
I just feel like, I'm not saying the police right, wrong, or whatever the case may be. I'm just saying that's not something you want to do when you're trying to get back into $1 billion organization, basically.
For sure. No, I mean, I agree with that. I think that, honestly, I agree with teams not picking him up, if I'm being honest.
I agree too at the end of the day.
Yeah, if I was an organization, for me, I'm even more so on his side as far as that. I think I'm very pro what he's talking about. But at the end of the day, if I'm thinking as a businessman, definitely not going to bring that kind of attention. There's just no reason for it. Yeah. He is definitely good enough to play backup quarterback in the NFL, but guess what? A lot of people, there's plenty. And it actually, his situation, in my opinion, and we might disagree on this part though. It goes hand in hand with Tim Tebow's situation. I'm a Gators fan. I'm a big Tebow fan. I feel the exact same way about him, where it's like I totally understand why a team won't take a chance on Tim Tebow. It's different what he's standing for, huh?
They took a chance on him. He couldn't block worth nothing. Or you mean trying to play
as a quarterback? As a quarterback, you don't think he's good enough to play backup quarterback in the NFL?
No.
Oh, well, okay.
I mean, we
disagree.
Yeah.
I mean, I disagree. I think that he's definitely good enough to play. Well, so, okay. Then, I mean, we're not even going to necessarily agree on the premise of the argument, but the argument that I would make anyways is that Tebow is good enough to be a backup quarterback, but I agree with him not being in the NFL for the sole purpose that he's too polarizing. Yeah. That I remember him being the quarterback for the Broncos, and literally anytime anything happened, people were yelling Tebow and wanted him in the game. And he ended up backing it up. To a certain extent with wins, but yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of regular season wins.
That's dead. Demarius Thomas caught that thing.
Yeah, 100%. But the thing is, to say he had one playoff win is kind of not giving him enough credit, because he had one playoff win with a very small window of opportunity.
Yeah.
If he had a 10-year window of opportunity, like some guys get, who's to say he wouldn't have had 5, 6, 7, 8 playoff wins? You know?
Well, I don't know what happened between college. Mm-hmm. Maybe the talent that they were playing against was so low, because the man was awesome in college, and I'm just like, how y'all not going to let him play?
First off, the man was awesome in the NFL. The only time he played, he had a winning record.
Yes, but it was like, it was weird. It was almost like
it was an amazing time.
I mean, he probably, like you say, needed more opportunity, more
time to get better.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with that.
And it's also like, oh, hey, coaches, guess what? You got to do your job with this guy. Coach him a little bit. But to your point, though, from college to NFL, I remember that taking place before. He had a lot of criticism coming into the league as far as like his throwing motion. And a lot of people thought even before he came in that he wasn't going to be a productive NFL quarterback. And like I said, I'll admit my bias. I'm a Gators fan. I'll argue that Tim Tebow is the best college player of all time. I promise you I will.
I mean, that's debatable.
It is debatable for sure. No, I believe that. And that's an argument that I'll have, because it is debatable, and he's the Gators player that I'll stand by as far as that goes. But I don't think I think he earned more of an opportunity than what he got, but I do understand the decision after the Broncos decided to sell on him, and then he went to the Jets. You know, at a certain point, I just get it. I remember them having a press conference for their backup quarterback that they signed. Yeah. That never happens.
And then Belichick flirted with him.
Yeah.
And then then sign him. But I mean, but Cap, sure. I think, man, the kneeling, which, like I always say, there was a Marine, I believe, because he was sitting, the Marine told him to kneel because that's more honorable. He did that. It was peaceful. He wasn't beating up people, no violence.
Sure. Yeah.
I'll ride with that all day, every day, no matter what you're standing for. You know what I'm saying? Nonviolent protest, I'll ride with that all day.
With that.
But I just think once he got his money, he didn't do anything for the black community. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know of any communities he's went into and all this stuff here. I think the NFL gave a little bit of money, but I ain't heard about that either. Yeah, where it actually went. But
I'm not trying to overly challenge you on your show here. Don't get me wrong. But how much have you looked into?
I've looked into it.
Okay,
I've tried to look into it.
I'm just making sure. I haven't, so I can't really say that.
Just like BLM, they haven't, to my understanding and my research, they haven't done much in any community, black community. You know what I mean? Kaepernick just had the little. Well, we talked about the show.
The black and white.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. By the way,
no, but, that show was insane.
Yes,
yeah, for sure. That show was definitely insane.
I thought this was 1964.
I mean, do you think that some of that is actually? I mean, I think that kind of leans into your point a little bit, as far as like he's almost taking that as like a new career opportunity, and really the only time we see him really, I mean, and once again, I don't really look for him, to be honest. I'm not like searching to see what he's doing, so he may be, as far as I'm concerned, but when I see him, it is because he's like doing some interview or he's making a show or something like that. And he may, in his mind, he may flip it as far as like, well, look at the show I'm making. It's bringing attention to these issues, but it was all about him, and it was delusional in that case, in my opinion. It was wild.
Or you actually helping Yeah, you bringing light to your supposed situation.
Sure.
But who you actually helping? I mean, they can look online and find a billion stories. But it's not a football player,
and also a lot of times it's not somebody that's made it out of that situation. Yeah. So he's able to show you like, hey, I faced those scenarios and I was able to be successful. But at the end of the day, I do agree with you. I think if you watch the show, I'll go so far as to say the entire situation seemed fabricated and not even real life. To me. It was.
I'm pretty sure there was some truth in there.
Oh,
but if you ever watch the show, or if y'all go watch the show, I'm going to take that apple. Just know that. I'm gonna get that apple and I'm gonna eat it.
It will be his.
Yes.
No, the show it was like a fever dream of racism.
I think that one threw me over the top. The apple threw me over the top.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, the apple. And
the police.
Yeah, the white man's stamp of approval episode was pretty interesting. The hair episode. I thought that one was probably that made me laugh. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, how like uncomfortable she was about the hairdresser's sexuality and all that. Yeah. It was very. Oh, and actually, so to your point, that got tied in. What's that? Like that kind of agenda. I don't know how much you want to get into this stuff on your show, but the homosexual agenda got kind of tied in with that, as far as like you have everything else is like centered around race tension and issues, but they also did basically what I'm saying is those issues a lot of times come hand in hand with left politics. Honestly,
that's what they actually do is they try to push that agenda onto the Black community, just like BLM. Like they just push the agenda onto the Black community, and that doesn't. And I'm not saying anything negative against gay people. Be gay, I can care less.
Yeah,
but they're just mixing the two together.
Yeah.
And to me, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just thought that was interesting that because that show was all about making kind of like political points that kind of got shoehorned in. I thought was interesting.
And the reason I say it doesn't make any sense is because the gay community, they have everything. They can get married now. So, two couples, same sex, can be on each other's insurance and different things like that. They don't want anything. Now, the Black community may need more.
Well, hold on. I don't know if I would necessarily agree with that as far as like gay people have everything that they want and need, but I would say that they do have programs. Yeah, and things there that represent them, and they have TV shows and things like that represent the homosexual experience and so on and so forth. So you didn't have to shoehorn it into this show. So it is kind of like, and to your point, I mean, if this show's key demographic is going to be African Americans, then you're taking this and you're trying to kind of like maybe soften the people that are watching this. You're trying to also preach to them a little bit. Exactly. You know what I mean? So little snuck in lesson there. And the next thing you know what I mean?
Yeah, now they're in there.
They're in there.
I mean, it's like I say, they just need to get on an agenda by themselves. Not with the.
I do understand that to a certain extent.
I mean, but anyway,
I've heard that before with like certain activists that I've seen be really vocal online against things like this have said like, hey, sometimes people what's the word? Kind of hijack.
It's hijacked.
Yeah, certain movements, and then the agenda ends up completely changing, and the next thing you know, something that's a pro-Black movement turns into like a pro-Black / LGBTQ plus.
Yeah.
So, definitely. I mean, wow. So the Super Bowl happened. We were talking about that at one point.
I don't know what happened, but this is what happens when you just get to chopping it up about things you're actually passionate about, things you actually know something about, and you're passionate about.
Definitely. Yeah. No. Interesting stuff. I mean, Kaepernick, Tebow. I do think that kind of the situations are a little bit similar. But there's afterwards, I think there's a difference in how Kaepernick has handled it, and that's what makes it kind of hard for me to get behind him. And also even in that show, he seems like a crazy narcissist. If you're watching it, you're like, what the hell is going on?
But Tebow got a shot up in Jacksonville.
But not as a quarterback.
Thing was
he's a tight end
crap show. Yes, but come on, man, you can't tell me like I played, DB quarterback.
That's the sixth time you told us tonight.
But I'm just saying. But if you put me on the offensive line, I'm gonna be able to try to block somebody. You know, in my age group, I'm not talking. You know,
I
me in the NFL right now. Yeah. Like he couldn't even halfway block. Like it just felt like he didn't even try. I felt like, and I don't feel like that's Tebow his character.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I know. Okay, so I remember seeing a specific play where
over and over.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was necessarily what it was overall, but they did cut him, so I assume he wasn't doing very good. Yeah. I mean, he spent several years outside of football. Even spent several years not even playing football, playing baseball.
Yeah.
So I don't. And maybe his heart wasn't in it. I mean, at this point, coming back as a tight end.
Football. I mean, not playing quarterback.
Yeah. And that's his dream, and he stuck to those guns for a long time.
Looked bad though. It looked very bad.
I honestly didn't watch much of it, so I can't even really say. But I mean, I believe you.
He didn't know what to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and that's possible. I don't know. Maybe his just heart wasn't in it. At the end of the day, when you're talking about being a tight end and hitting 280-pound men, your heart's got to be in that thing. You know what I mean? Or else,
you're right.
You know, yeah. So I mean, it's unfortunate how that ended up working out, but I'm surprised that you think he couldn't even be a backup quarterback. To be honest. Yeah.
I don't think so.
I feel you. You're speaking with your brain, not your heart. Yeah.
I really genuinely like Tebow, and I wanted him to be successful.
No, and I feel you. 100%. Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Because what he stood for.
Of course, yeah. No, he stood strong on a lot of values and stuff, but I just wish it would have worked out a little bit more. But definitely don't feel like he got his opportunity. But I'll die on that hill.
A little bit more about football. Maybe the last topic.
Okay.
Who else has something major possibly can happen this year? Major decisions maybe that you can think of. I know the Bucs do. Well, we got to figure out a quarterback. It's been rumored that they might look at even Jameis Winston.
Oh, bringing him back, really? Interesting.
And I think it'll be a better go round if they bring him back.
I'm sure he's learned a lot when he went to New Orleans, and New Orleans did just lose their head coach Sean Payton, so he may be looking to move on. From that situation, which sucks for Jameis actually, that he didn't really get to, because he went there, he really wanted to learn under Sean Payton and Drew Brees. He got part of that opportunity, but it was a really small window. So I wish he would have had a little bit more time. I mean, he has, in my opinion, honestly, Jameis has really great leadership intangibles. You know what I mean? I think he's really good at kind of really getting people fired up and ready to follow him. I mean, at FSU, that's what you saw every game. I mean, and the way he throws the ball, it doesn't seem like there's much velocity on it, to be honest. And I don't know how it gets where it's going, but I mean, typically it does, or into the other team's hands. But either way, it's a catchable ball, is what I'm saying.
Turnovers,
for sure. No, I'm kidding. Really,
I mean, I'm pretty sure Sean Payton put him in better positions. Also, Well, I wouldn't be opposed to him coming back to Tampa.
Did he throw 30 interceptions with Bruce Arians? Was that his coach at the time? I think it was.
Interceptions?
Yeah. Remember, he had 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. That was
the last year he was with the Bucs.
Yeah. I don't remember.
It had to be Bruce Arians.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so that's not great. Yeah, that's a little disappointing.
That's very disappointing.
But I think that I do agree with you, though. And I think that as far as a leader, definitely he makes sense. And he's better than whatever option. I don't even know who their backup quarterback is.
Trask or something?
Kyle Trask. So Florida
Gators.
He
played at Florida? Mm-hmm. Yeah. He any good?
He was good in college, but that's college. And they didn't really win anything with him. And he had Kyle Pitts, who was like a Heisman candidate as a tight end. So
and we got Blaine Gabbert.
Okay.
Pretty much know what he can and can't do. So
I'd say make that move. I'd say go ahead and make that move. Yeah.
Not Blaine.
Well, no, I'm saying the move that we were talking about previously, or go grab Aaron Rodgers, like you said, Jameis Winston, get Tom Brady to come back. Any of those options are better. Maybe go see if the Hamburglar wants to play quarterback for your team. But you definitely don't.
Aaron Rodgers too now, still in the NFC.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think that's a great fit. You know what I mean?
Hey, Aaron, come on down to Tampa, man. We need you.
And to be honest with you, Aaron's not going to find a better scenario because the wide receiver, well, just your tight ends too, the receiving threats that you have, almost unmatched, might be the best group in the NFL, really. Yeah. You get from top to bottom.
But we ain't gonna get Gold. What's his name? Goldwyn back for a hot little minute. Godwin, yeah. True. And then I don't know what Gronk is doing.
Yeah, I think he's coming back.
We got OJ Howard too, though.
I think Gronk's coming back though, to be honest.
Hey, Gronk told a story I seen it and I do remember this.
Yeah,
where he was the Patriots going to trade him, and he threatened to retire. He said, "You can't trade me. I'm retired."
Yeah.
He said when he got the phone call, he said, "You can't trade me. I'm retired."
Damn.
And then he said, "Yeah, the next year I was on the Patriots." But I do remember. I just
showed up.
I didn't know the part about. I remember them saying something to the fact that he was going to retire, and then because he didn't want to get traded, but he actually told the story.
Yeah, Gronk did.
Yeah.
No, I get it. Well, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, some of those scenarios,
and they was going to send him to Detroit.
Okay, so yeah, a scenario like that. It's perfect example, exactly what I was about to say. Yeah. So, in some scenarios, if it just becomes not worth it to you and you're beating up your body like that, and you already are set as far as financially, if you're set and you've made good decisions with your money, I totally get that, to be honest. Like at some point, you have to want to take your life into your own hands, and you don't want somebody to just come to you and tell you, "Hey, it's Detroit for you now." Like what? Because when you sign. Yeah, when you sign that dotted line, it was in New England, and so I understand the trade is part of the business to a certain extent. But yeah, some of those you're talking about basically sending him when you traded him to Detroit, you knew you were sending him somewhere where at for the very least he was going to spend several years on the downturn, and that could be the end of somebody's career for sure. Yeah, I actually the Dolphins' old head coach Adam Gase. Jarvis Landry spoke out against him after he got traded, and he said that he used to threaten people and say, "If you keep it up, I'll trade you to the Browns."
Yeah, I heard that.
Little did he know the Dolphins are worse than the Browns.
I got one more scenario.
Yeah,
racial thing. Okay, so you had Barry Sanders with Detroit, and you also had Calvin Johnson, two black athletes, two of the you can argue two of the greatest of all time at their position.
Yeah, for sure.
That were trying to get out of Detroit, and Detroit wouldn't let them go.
Yeah.
But now you get Matthew Stafford, who they actually traded to let go, who obviously is a white quarterback.
Yep.
Now he wins the Super Bowl. And now we got the whole thing with the coaching thing, and they saying they getting paid to purposely lose games. So what do you think about that dynamic? Do you think there's something to it when it comes to race, or is that just like
the two
probably not?
I don't know. The two scenarios I think are kind of separate, because the one scenario is dealing with the coaches. I do think there's something funny there. With the Detroit, I don't know because Calvin Johnson's closer because I don't know about the Detroit thing. I think that might be a little bit of a stretch just because I don't know about the ins and outs of the scenarios. And I don't know if Barry Sanders, the ownership would have been the same. I think it was the Ford family.
What I was going to ask. I have to, that's what I was going to look into.
I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. I think it was the Ford family, but maybe still somebody could have died or whatever. So it's a different person. But with Calvin Johnson, that does make sense. I don't know if it's solely race, to be honest. I really don't. Yeah. But I could address the coaching thing, I think, a little bit better. In that scenario, I think it definitely does have something to play with it. I think it has to do with these people that are owners and their mindset, and possibly them having reservations on whether or not a black man could lead another group of men. And I think that has something to do with it, to be honest with you. Yeah, 100%. Because I think there's no excuse why you have a league that is 70% African American. And I don't know how many coaches we have now, but it was just a couple weeks ago we had one African American head coach. And now, just because you have a majority of one race, I'm not saying that's why you should definitely have black head coaches. 100%. That's not why I'm saying. It actually goes deeper than that. It's because 70% of your players, then however many of those people decide to become coaches. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then you're not empowering those people to still stay within your organization and become head coaches. Yeah. There's no reason that how many coaches do we have, white head coaches, that were players? You know what I mean? And I feel like those guys get those jobs quick, like Mike Vrabel, who, as far as I know, I don't even know if he was a position coach in the league. I'm not 100% sure. I could be off on that, but that's my main issue with it. Is your hiring pool should primarily, I think, be coming from a lot of players because they become coaches, or at least they should. If they're not, that's another issue, I think. So then why are we just not seeing more coaches? Basically, that's really
I think simple as that. Just some of the white coaches are skipping a rank.
Steps.
Yes, skipping steps
for sure
to actually get hired and get these interviews. and compared to some of these black coaches who have been coordinators and different things like that.
Eric Bieniemy from the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah. He, by the way, is offensive coordinator for maybe the most prolific quarterback in the last 5-6 years, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And he can't get a job.
Yeah.
You have Brian Daboll, who turned around Josh Allen's career. Don't be wrong, Josh Allen, great, all of that, but nowhere near Patrick Mahomes, by the way. And honestly, Josh Allen had more hype coming into the league than Patrick Mahomes.
I didn't even know who Patrick Mahomes was, because when they was looking to make the trade, or not the trade, but to Alex Smith, get him out of there and put. I'm like, who?
Yeah, no, for sure.
This guy?
Yeah, you know definitely. And so basically, there's no reason that guy's not getting an opportunity, and you have your Brian Dabolls, your Joe Judges that are getting opportunities. Mike Rules, who never coached in the NFL, came from college, and which, don't be wrong, I have no problem with that. Some of those guys should get a job, but it does look a little weird when you have Eric Bieniemy, and you had the Texans hire David Culley, who lost his job after 1 year.
Yeah,
I didn't think that was a good hire when they made it, to be honest. It seemed like this guy is just a placeholder, because he, I think, was the oldest head coach hired. Yeah, something like that, and was never a head coach.
They just hired a black coach, though, right?
Lovie Smith.
Yeah. But that's just a retread. Sure. Yeah, it's a good, I guess, a decent hire. You know what I mean?
Well, he was there last year. I'm confused.
He was there last year?
Yes, he was.
That's why I'm coaching at Illinois.
No, well, I think he was at one point, but last year he was their assistant head coach.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Makes no sense. They weren't even considering him for the position, which I guess maybe I don't know. Maybe something happened in the hiring process where things changed. But
probably hoping they could get Deshaun Watson to come on and play now that they gave him.
Maybe, but
I love it.
They were interviewing Brian Flores. I was wondering, he didn't get a job. Yeah. Which, I mean, this is really the point of this. Really brought this whole conversation up.
He's probably not going to get a job.
No, for sure. I was confused when they still said that he was interviewing. I'm like, who? Like, I don't even understand how that works. Yeah, that's such a.
I think there's going to be a big light on this. When they had the whole Kaepernick thing, and now him.
Sure.
I think this is something where Kaepernick shouldn't be hired. You know what I mean? Because he's going to be but this guy probably is going to get hired simply because of everything that's been going on.
Name Brian Flores?
Yeah. I think he will get
but doesn't hired, somebody,
if not this year, maybe next year.
But doesn't okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a Dolphins fan, for any of you guys watching this that don't know, and I loved Brian Flores. So it's like, I think it was so stupid that we made that move, and I was shocked when I saw that. Like, my heart broke. As I've talked about this on my own platform, but I mean, I'll touch on it real quick here. As a Dolphins fan, and you guys out there that are Dolphins fans, I will say I have never felt more stability as a Dolphins fan than the last 3 years. I mean, I'm talking about the first season right away. Stability is what I would say. You know what I mean? We felt like we were moving in the right direction and that we were building. And this move came completely out of left field. I mean, for the love of God, going into this year as Dolphins fans, I promise you, amongst ourselves, we thought that we were a Super Bowl contender if we got Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Hey, think about how far we feel away from that at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But legitimately, the conversation was being had, and not just with Dolphins fans, actually on TV, where they're like, if they make this move, this puts them into contention. One player away with this head coach, and we make a move to get Mike McDaniel from the 49ers, who, if I'm not mistaken, didn't even call his own plays.
Wow.
It's insane.
That's like Drake don't write his own.
It is, honestly. It is like that. So yeah, just really, really, really disappointing as a Dolphins fan. Do not understand the move. But what was my point with that? Oh, but he would have a little bit of the Tim Tebow, Colin Kaepernick feel for me, where me as a team, I wouldn't want to touch the distraction. Why? Why even allow that to come in? Why is that going to make it a conversation?
I think the difference here is when you hire him, it takes the attention off a little bit. Yeah, in the beginning, he's going to have to answer some questions.
But in our locker room, does it? I feel like it focuses the attention, if anything.
No, you know what I mean? I think players are going to come out there and play. As the media goes,
probably right.
I think the media, oh man, he got a job. Yes, it's going to be hyped for a little bit. But as the season goes on, that's going to fall off because he's gotten a job. Now, if he don't get a job, it's going to be hyped up on, pretty much all season. It's going to stay alive.
But it's not going to be hyped up on, say, I don't know, teams that aren't involved. Yeah. So if you're the Atlanta Falcons, for example, you are not, in my opinion, you're not incentivized to hire him because you already have no heat, really. I mean, the NFL does. So I guess if you're worried about the shield overall.
If you're firing a coach.
I know. But say you fire a coach. For me, the Atlanta Falcons, there's no incentive for them to get involved with Brian Flores because where that might take some of the attention off the overall NFL, it's going to focus in the attention on the Atlanta Falcons, which really, aside from just being a part of the NFL, have no connection to this at all. You know what I mean? Well, so why even bring it in? Yeah.
If he's available and you just fired your coach, he's available.
Probably the best choice. Probably the best choice for you.
Might be, but they're gonna scrutinize it just like they do. Well, Colin Kaepernick's a better backup quarterback than this guy.
Rightfully so, though. For me, I wouldn't. Brian Flores, 100%, I think, is most likely the best option as for a head coach. I wish he was the coach of the Miami Dolphins. I wish we would have hired him back. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the unknown is almost enough to not even mess with it, in my opinion.
You know what I mean? Different because I think if you fire your coach. Mm-hmm. From here next year, this year, next year, if you fire your coach, they're gonna be like, "Why you didn't hire Brian Flores? Why you didn't give him a look? Why you didn't do this and why you didn't do that?
Hire somebody that makes sense."
If he gets hired, it doesn't matter.
Why do you say
unless you're gonna hire another black coach?
And you might.
Yeah, if you hire another black coach, it won't be a big deal.
Okay, but
if you hire a white coach, it's going to be a big deal until he get hired.
I think even if you don't, I think I think it would be fine because you're just going to be lumped in for a day in the news cycle with everybody, and they're going to put you up on the screen and say, "Wow, why didn't any of these guys hire anybody?" But I don't think you attract the individual attention. I think the only way you get a lot of individual
attention, I believe so.
I think you attract more individual attention if you hire him.
I think you attract more if you don't hire him and your coach sucks.
Sure.
And they say, "Oh, such and such is on the hot seat."
Sure.
And if you fire your coach and you don't hire him.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely could see what you're saying. And I think it would be probably a part of the general conversation because he's very qualified. But I just don't think it'll stick with those teams for very long. I think, like I said, it'll be like a one-day thing. Oh, wow, this is who they hired. Why didn't they hire this guy? And then you're going to be out of the conversation. Whereas if you hire him, he's your head coach. You're going to be in the conversation for the next 12 months. Partially, but definitely partially, 100%. And then anything goes wrong. If you have any like dissent in the locker room, I mean, everything could be. Brian Flores really is going to be answering questions about that all year. Yeah. If it's not the players, it'll be Brian Flores.
But come what they call that Black Monday or whatever when they fire all those coaches, he's gonna be right back in the spotlight. And also, all this summer, he's going to be in the spotlight.
Also, can you be 100% focused in on your job as the NFL head coach while you're suing this league and while you're suing 3 other teams? I don't know.
My opinion, yes.
That'd be another concern.
Because, I mean, you got your lawyers. That's
handling most of it. Yeah, for sure.
Now, you're going to have to make some decisions, obviously. Yeah. But he probably messed it. He might not get a head coaching job.
Yeah.
Because he is trying to sue the NFL. So they'll probably blackball him out, maybe. Just simply because he's trying to sue him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, I could see that happening for sure. I could see somebody giving him an opportunity just because he is so qualified, and I do think he deserves a job. I just, for me, I also understand, honestly, why a team would play it safe and just not even want to invite that attention into their locker room. If anything, I think there's more of a, I don't know if Eric Bieniemy wanted to leave the Chiefs this year, but like, why is he not?
I see what you're saying too.
Yeah.
But you better not fire your coach. You better not fire your coach.
You mean after you don't go with him? Or are you saying that you better not fire your coach?
You better not fire your coach until this dies down. Give it a couple years.
Got you.
All coaches should be staying on their team for the next.
Everybody thank Brian Flores, ironically, for the job security.
Yeah, I'm being real.
No, and I feel you.
That's what I think it's going to come back up, especially if you don't find a job. And I'm pretty sure all the jobs are filled now, right?
I think the Texans were the last job, and Lovie Smith, like I said, got that. So
we'll see.
I think so.
That saga's yet to come out.
For sure.
We'll see.
Yeah. No, it'll be exciting to see what ends up happening with it and if he ends up winning his lawsuit.
But really quick, I'm gonna revert back to the initial question that led to all that was Bear Sanders
not
being able to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Megatron not being able to leave,
and then Matthew Stafford
being able to leave.
Yeah,
not only leave but go to a Super Bowl contending team. Why? What did they get in that trade?
I just know Jared Goff and probably a pick. If I had to guess,
you almost like who? That's almost like the Pau Gasol trade to the Lakers.
What was that? Wasn't that for Marc Gasol or something?
I don't know who it was for, but
I think Marc Gasol was involved in that trade.
Marc Gasol and Kwame Brown, I think, and my dog Kwame,
who was fire at basketball, by the way.
Huh?
He was great at basketball.
Yeah, he was greater than me, so he was great. Okay. Hey, that man got his mama on the golf course.
I'm not mad at him.
Hey, Stephen A., why you was at them colleges, boy? You know what I'm saying? I gotta get off my dog. My dog be doing all kind of crazy stuff.
Rams.
You know what I'm saying, for the community. So check out Bus Life. Kwame Brown Bus Life. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely got to. Okay, well, hold up. So, all right, I'm not gonna lie, it's not that bad of a trade. So Matthew Stafford to the Rams in exchange for Jared Goff, 2 first-round picks, and a third-round pick.
Okay, that's nice. That's probably worth it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But they wouldn't even let them boys go. I think it is a racial thing.
Well, can I just say? Okay, I feel you, but. Well, yeah. Okay, go ahead. Is there anything else you want to?
No, I just think at the end of the day, this man was begging to get out of Detroit to the point to where he retired. Both of them retired.
No, for sure.
They're getting beat up, bruised, and Barry Sanders was still getting 1,000 yards a season.
Do you think it's possible that, like, I mean, just based off of that for Matthew Stafford, also because he's a quarterback, they were able to just get an offer that they couldn't refuse to let him go? Like, you're talking about 2 first-round picks.
No, because the team's already in the dumpster. What's the one thing you need? You need a quarterback. If you know what I'm saying, unless you're gonna just.
Well, what do you mean by that? You're saying because he's so valuable, you can't let him go?
Yes.
Yeah, but
that's that one valuable guy you can't let go as a quarterback.
But you're not winning with him.
Yeah, but you need to put better people around him. That's why you're not winning. Winning. You're not winning because of him. You're not winning because of the talent you're putting around him.
Okay, so draft picks could allow you to put more talent on your team.
Yeah, but it ain't gonna happen fast enough. Look.
No, and I feel you. I do feel you, and I do wonder. I mean, I'm not discounting the possibility of the Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson thing being racially motivated to a certain extent, but I just don't know if there's enough evidence there to say that. Just because I could see a scenario where it makes sense to get rid of Matthew Stafford, and maybe it doesn't make sense to get rid of.
I mean, just who else?
You're not going anywhere with Matthew Stafford right now. Honestly, they probably cashed in at the perfect time to get finally the most value possible. If you would have waited for 2 more years.
But all these years that went by, nobody else offered them anything decent. Matthew Stafford, a team that's right down the cuff.
That's a good question. Maybe just based off of where they felt they were as a team and his age, they felt like they were on the same page. But now, I think Matthew Stafford's 34 years old. If the Detroit Lions are being honest with themselves, and also that might be another thing, Matthew Stafford is actually older than both of those players when they asked to be traded. So I know Barry Sanders, I think, retired before 30.
10, I think.
Okay, it might have been. I mean, he might have been 30, but I know that was like the thing. And Calvin Johnson, same thing, 9 years, so he was like 30 years.
These guys want to leave so bad, but you wouldn't allow them to leave because you want to keep them so bad. You just put them in retirement, basically.
I mean, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I mean, what else are you going to do? Are you going to allow people to force their way out? Also, do you kind of set like a bad precedent if you do that? Hey, anybody that says they want to leave, we'll trade you. You know?
Yeah. You want to leave? Bye.
But it's not necessarily.
No, I'm just playing. I know it's not that simple.
Yeah.
But well, what happened in this scenario? Did he want to leave, or did they get a phone call say, "Hey, let's do this trade"? Da 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 da. Well, I mean, we're not just doing any trade. We're doing the trade to one of the best, obviously the best team in the league.
Well, yeah, I think that in this scenario, it just kind of. I think it just kind of made sense because basically the timeline that Matthew Stafford was on, the Detroit Lions were not going to be able to be competitive in his timeline. By the time, best case scenario, say they were able to build a team in 3 years. Yeah. So right as Matthew Stafford's been 37 years old, their defense could start to come around and stuff. So at that point, it just doesn't really make any sense to keep him as the player. You might as well trade him. It makes sense.
Yeah, but
And I feel you. And also, we were just talking about owners paying teams to lose games. Yeah. So maybe you're like, get Matthew Stafford the hell out of here. He wins us like 2 games this year. Let's get Jared Goff up in here. He loses us 16. So,
they won 1 or 2 this year, though.
They did. Yeah, they did. And there's sometimes they didn't look bad. They look pretty competitive, honestly.
I don't know. I just think until, and I don't know when that will change, another situation like that comes up. But it just looks too crazy to me.
What's that?
And exactly? It may not be a racial thing, but it looks too crazy. You're talking about
between the Lions?
Yeah.
I feel you. It could be. It definitely could be. Maybe it's like a respect thing. They don't respect Calvin Johnson, because that's really, to me, if you're looking at it, best case scenario, they did a solid for Matthew Stafford, and they wanted him to be able to make the most out of the end of his career, and they weren't willing to do the same for Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders. But I don't know if it was that simple, because I do think, I think them being younger comes into play. Matthew Stafford, this might not be the first time he wanted to get up out of there. There may have been times that they're like, yeah, no, we're gonna make this work.
There may have been times. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Well, I ain't gonna say I'm pretty sure, but
I think I had heard that before, that they were considering trading him, but I don't know. Yeah, never happened, obviously. Yeah. But tonight he won Super Bowl with the Rams. Crazy. Yeah.
And your ass at home, bro.
Yeah. It is sad, though. By the way, before we get out of here, I do want to, your last topic, the Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson thing. Those are two of the most tragic careers in a way. Like, what would have been if, Barry Sanders would have played on a legitimate contender, if he would have played with Dan Marino, and because I think that was actually a rumor at one point that he was supposed to play in Miami.
I would have loved. I hated when Barry Sanders retired.
Oh, for sure.
Oh my
God. He played the game in such a unique way. I mean, a lot of my exposure to Barry Sanders is like through NFL films and stuff on NFL Network. But when you watch, crazy stat with Barry Sanders. So he actually had the most yards lost, as well as the most yards in a single season. So very interesting. He kind of reminds me of, well, it doesn't remind me, I shouldn't even say that, not really, but there's have you ever seen the run with the return with Dante Hall, where he's like running back and forth?
He was joystick.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was stupid crazy.
Yeah, I remember whoever his coach was at the time, I was watching, it was like Dick Vermeil or something like that. He was talking about that, and he was like, when he's running back one way, I'm like, no, and he ran back the other way, no, run. He's like, no, and he breaks off. He's like, yes, go. No, it's just incredible what some of those guys could do. I mean, and Barry Sanders, better than anybody. I mean, looks like a cartoon or a video game character, how he's moving around. So, and same thing with Calvin Johnson. It is kind of unique that they have maybe the most amazing physical talent at running back and wide receiver. Yeah. Barry Sanders is up there. So, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, Calvin Johnson up there too. So,
well, for sure, definitely.
But anyway, y'all let us know what y'all think.
Most definitely.
You know what I mean? Once again, here we got my boy Sitting Politics.
Yes, sir. Sitting Politics Podcast, baby. YouTube. Check us out.
Check them out. Obviously, Gates Open Warner Media Group.
Obviously.
Gates Open Warner Media Group.
Say it.
Hey, Google me, but no, I'm just playing.
But for sure, do it.
Yeah. Check us out. Check us both out. We're trying to do big things.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's been doing this a little bit longer than I have. He helped me get started, so show him some support.
Please, yes.
And I can only just keep telling y'all, we're looking to do great things with both of our channels, both of our podcasts, and stay tuned.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
And we out.
That's it.
20 minutes.
3 more hours.